Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Allevo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. I'm Allison Kinney. Now let's take a look at what's making agricultural news. The USDA has begun catching up after the government shutdown, releasing the latest available sales data showing exports of corn and wheat as of October 16th were well over year-earlier levels. However, soybean sales, as expected, have plunged compared to last year. Accumulated exports of corn from the start of the marketing year were reported at 10.68 million metric tons, a 58% year-over-year increase. Wheat sales from June 1st through October 16th totaled 11.35 million metric tons, up 23% from the same period a year earlier. USDA said soybean sales from September 1st through mid-October came in at 6.726 million metric tons, down 32% on an annual basis. Overseas buyer commitments to purchase corn stand at 35.36 million tons, up 37% year over year. Commitments to buy U.S. wheat from June 1 through mid-October stand at 16.4 million tons, up 22%. Soybean commitments are down 38% year over year. In the news as well, USDA Secretary Brooke Rawlings insisted on CNBC's Squawk Box that China will meet its commitment to buy 12 million metric tons of soybeans this year. Rawlings was asked if China could make good on its tariff-reducing deal with just a month remaining in the year, and so few soybeans bought thus far.
They've already put in a purchase order. We've already started shipping soybeans their way, almost 1.5 million metric tons. We have every indication they will continue to buy soybeans, sorghum, etc.
But will it be 12 million metric tons, and will it happen in the short time remaining this year?
Every sign is their commitment remains true, that they will indeed buy or purchase 12 million metric tons or put the order in. It doesn't mean we'll move 12 million metric tons by the end of December, but it means that those orders will come in according to their commitment.
But Rawlings admits there's still a need to help farmers, and the extent of that aid will depend on the trade situation.
We are looking at the aid right now. We have always said it is to solve for, to mitigate anything under these new trade negotiations. Every day that changes, and that's what we're working. So we'll have an announcement probably in the next week or two on what that's going to look like.
Hinting that better foreign buys could limit the extent of aid. Rawlings said farmers want markets, not a government check. Through tariffs used as leverage to win markets have completed that goal. Also making headlines today, there's no question that high fertilizer prices have been difficult to deal with for months. But what's ahead? Joss Linville, Vice President of Fertilizer at StoneX, talks about nitrogen.
So far, everything looks like it's a big run here this fall for anhydrous. Everybody who has had a chance to go out there for the most part has done so. We think it's going to be a big fall run. However, you're starting to see a lot more of the estimates next year for the corn crop. It's getting bigger. We'd use 93 million last big deep dive for the fertilizer kind of forecast S&D. Now starting to hear some numbers, 94, 95 is getting tossed out there. So tremendous amount of demand is expected on the nitrogen side. Globally speaking, we still got some problems. I don't know that go away very soon. Yeah, there's been some things that have helped, but overall S&D is still tighter than it should be.
Linville also talked about potash.
I still think we're okay. Potash prices are good. They make sense versus grain values. Yeah, they can always be cheaper, but I think the potash manufacturers have done a great job of putting the price where it needs to be. I think demand will be solid there. Phosphate, we still have big problems. And that's going to be the one I think everybody's going to listen and say, yep, I don't like phosphate at all. I don't think that's getting any better anytime soon. The tariff situation that Trump announced on late Friday, or at least the Trump administration announced, that helps, but it's not the silver bullet. We are still a world that has China, who's typically the world's largest exporter, 8 or 10 million ton. I will be thrilled if they hit 4.5 million ton this year. And I don't know of anybody else who can step up and fill that gap.
Again, that's Joss Linville of StoneX. Rounding out the news, the Trump administration anticipates it will be ready to announce an aid package for American farmers within 2.5 weeks, as well as a deal on Chinese soybean purchases. Ag Secretary Brooke Rawlings made the announcement this week, but didn't provide further details. Reuters reported that the administration has said for months it would issue assistance for U.S. farmers ravaged by low crop prices and trade disputes. We'll have an announcement probably in the next week or two on what it's going to look like, Rawlings told CNBC. But AgWeb's monthly monitor found a divided view on the benefits for trade aid. Economists reported to the monitor agreed on two things. One is that U.S. agriculture has become too reliant on aid havoc payments. They say repeated aid packages distort land values, cash rents, equipment purchases, and overall decision making. Number 2 is that they all agree that aid payments will keep fertilizer prices high. Now let's take a look at the markets. Brought to you by Seed Consultants, simply better performance. Learn more online at seedconsultants.com. December corn closing in today up 5 1/4 at $4.38. March corn up 5 at $4.50. January soybeans down 3 1/4 at $11.24 3/4. March soybeans up 3 at $11.35. December wheat is up 7 1/2 at $5.37 3/4. July wheat up 4 1/4 at $5.56. Now looking to livestock, December live cattle up $4.27 at $218.47. February live cattle up $4.87 at $220.80. And December lean hogs are up 27 cents at $80.50. Thanks for joining us. You're listening to the Ohio AgNet.